So we're diving into Tucker Carlson's latest expose on Epstein's connections with Mossad and U.S. intel secrets. Quite a controversial and explosive topic.
Yeah, that is a bombshell for sure. What's the main twist here?
Well, Tucker is really asking, was Epstein, the notorious financier, actually working for Mossad or maybe another foreign intelligence agency?
Exactly. And it's not just about Epstein's wealth, right? There's a whole layer of political protection and an eerie silence from officials.
Exactly. Tucker brings up how Epstein's rapid rise in wealth and his many political connections might suggest he was being shielded by powerful players, including intelligence agencies.
Right. Now, isn't it a bit audacious to even just ask that question openly? I mean, why is it like off limits to investigate further?
Absolutely. It's like a curtain was drawn over these discussions. Tucker insists that instead of whispering about these connections, we should be demanding answers, sort of challenging the culture of censorship that keeps these questions muted.
Yeah, I find that fascinating. He's really challenging the status quo. But isn't he skating on thin ice by, bringing in intelligence agencies and like CIA dark history into the mix?
Yes, indeed. He does. And that's where it gets even more intriguing. He's not just talking Epstein's case, he's also pointing fingers at a history of covert operations and the systematic cover ups by intelligence agencies in the US.
Right. It almost sounds like he's painting a picture where domestic concerns are overshadowed by these shadowy foreign threats.
Exactly. And, he argues that while everyday Americans are grappling with issues like debt and addiction, the focus is wrongfully placed on these international conspiracies. That creates this tension between national security concerns and domestic real issues.
Yeah. And do you think his claims about censorship hold water? Isn't it a bit overblown?
Well, that's where it gets contentious. On one hand, his narrative pushes the idea that asking these tough questions is dangerous, even forbidden. But on the other hand, some might argue that it's more of a provocative angle to capture attention rather than a fully substantiated investigative report.
I see your point. So he challenges our usual perceptions, shifting the focus from, say, everyday struggles to a labyrinth of espionage and secret alliances. That's pretty radical.
It is. And one key element here is how he questions Epstein's seemingly sudden rise in political protection. How did he amass such wealth and stay insulated when most of us wouldn't even think it possible?
Tucker seems to tie that protection to like potential deals with intelligence operatives, a dark web of hidden agendas and influencing forces.
Exactly. And he's not shy about calling out the silence from US and Israeli officials. It's as if he's saying, why are these powerful institutions maintaining this veil of silence?
Right, absolutely. I mean, it does raise some eyebrow issues, but don't you think there might be an overemphasis on these theories when the evidence might be, circumstantial at best?
That's a fair challenge. Tucker's commentary is definitely incendiary, designed to push the envelope and stir debate. Some might say he's leveraging controversy to shine a light on hidden truths, while others could argue that it's more speculative than factual.
I get that. And then there's his call to stop whispering and actually demand answers, a push against this culture where, challenging these narratives is seen as taboo.
Right, he's really advocating for a sort of investigative bravery. It's like he's yelling that our society should not just accept the official stories without probing deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
What's particularly interesting is how he contrasts these global conspiracies with everyday struggles. It's like he's saying, look, while you're busy debating international espionage, millions of Americans are dealing with existential problems.
Exactly. That contrast really amplifies the gravity of his claims. But here's a thought. Don't you think that by focusing so much on these high-stakes theories, he might inadvertently detract from the real issues people face on a daily basis?
That's a critical point. You could argue that his narrative runs the risk of overshadowing pressing domestic issues, which are no less important. It's almost like a double-edged sword. while it fuels curiosity about hidden power structures, it might also distract us from addressing systemic problems at home.
True. And this blend of conspiracy and critique of censorship, it sort of echoes back to long-standing discussions about the balance between national security and freedom of inquiry.
Absolutely, and it's like he's challenging the notion that discussing such topics is verboten. It's a push against a kind of intellectual self censorship that might be stifling broader debates.
Right, yeah.
There's also an interesting element about how his commentary is resonating across various media platforms. While some are amplifying his message, others are critiquing it as politically motivated sensationalism.
That's the nature of these debates, isn't it? Yeah, it's like every side is trying to claim its version of the narrative, and truth ends up being somewhere in between.
Right? And it's that very ambiguity that fuels further discussion. Is it deliberate misdirection by those in power or deep systemic issues in how we process
Exactly.
information?
It reminds me a bit of those classic debates on freedom of the press. How much detail can you share before, it turns into sensationalism versus critical inquiry?
Exactly. Like if you push too hard, you risk the narrative getting hijacked. But if you don't push, you're left wondering what really occurred behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's a tightrope walk. And let's not forget the media dynamics at play. Tucker's style is in your face and provocative, which, while grabbing attention, also opens him up to serious criticism.
Totally. Critics argue, and I kind of agree, that his approach sometimes blurs the line between rigorous inquiry and deliberate provocation. But you also have to admire the fact that he's forcing us to ask these hard questions, right?
Absolutely. It's a complex balance. You want genuine inquiry, but also need to sift through what might just be political theater. Seriously, though, isn't it odd that such controversial content isn't more widely debated in, say, mainstream political discourse?
Right, and that's exactly what makes this discussion so vital. We're in an era where questioning authority and being questioned in return is part of a larger struggle over transparency and accountability.
Yes, indeed. And considering the explosive nature of these claims, it's like every new piece of evidence can either confirm or completely upend the whole narrative.
Right, it's like a live puzzle where every new clue invites more scrutiny. And while Tucker's approach might seem like he's just stirring the pot, it's undeniably pushing for a deeper conversation about power, secrecy, and responsibility.
Definitely. So, to wrap it up, would you say this is more of a wake-up call for investigative journalism, or just, provocative commentary aimed at ruffling feathers?
It's a bit of both, really. On one hand, it challenges us to rethink what we consider our public narratives. On the other hand, some of it definitely feels engineered to push viewpoints that disrupt comfortable, established narratives.
Yeah. And that in itself is important, forcing a re-examination of our assumptions, even if it leaves us with more questions than answers.
Precisely. And while we might not have every answer today, this dialogue serves as a reminder to always question what's presented and look deeper into the intersections of power, media,
Absolutely, right?
and truth.
Thanks for such an engaging, thought-provoking chat. It's amazing how one topic can unravel so many layers.
Yeah, indeed. Let's keep questioning and discussing these vital issues no matter how controversial they might be.